They say the difference between a penny and a fortune is just knowing what you're holding. Imagine this, buried in an old coffee can in your attic, or rattling in the back of a desk drawer, is a coin that could change your life. A simple Lincoln 1-cent piece from 1952, with a tiny S under the date, the kind of coin most people would spend without thinking twice, but today, the right one could be worth up to $821,000. Yes, $821,000, for something you could fit on your fingertip. And here's the shocking part, there are still some of these out there, waiting to be found. Maybe even in your home right now, but before you rush off to check that jar of change, let me tell you why this story matters. In 1952, America was in a post-war boom. Families were moving to the suburbs, televisions were becoming the new hearth, and pennies were everywhere. Millions rolled out of the San Francisco Mint, each stamped with that small S. Most were ordinary. But a few, a very few, had a perfect strike, the rarest of conditions, and a lustrous copper finish untouched by time. Those survivors, the elite of the mintage, are the ones collectors will pay staggering sums for today. And here's where the fear sets in, most people will never know they've held one until it's too late. Think about it, how many pennies have you let slip through your fingers? Dropped in a tip jar, tossed into a fountain, vacuumed up by accident? That's why learning to recognize value before it's gone is so critical. And here's a quick mental jolt, you could have spent the down payment for your dream home on a candy bar without even realizing it. Makes you want to check your pockets right now, doesn't it? So what makes this coin so valuable? It's a combination of scarcity, condition, and a collector's dream for perfection. The S mint mark means it came from San Francisco, already a smaller production than the massive Philadelphia runs. Then there's grading, if your coin has razor-sharp details, deep red luster, and zero handling marks, you're looking at top-tier territory. In the rarest grade, certified by the most respected agencies, these coins have shattered expectations in auction after auction. And that's where the current market peak of $821,000 comes in, a jaw-dropping figure from a recent sale that sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. Now here's where things get interesting. People think these treasures live only in dusty collector vaults, but the truth? They show up in estate sales, inherited collections, and yes, even that old jar your grandfather kept in the garage. The stories are everywhere. A man in Ohio who cashed in $400,000 from a handful of coins he'd been keeping, just for luck, a widow in California whose late husband's cigar box turned out to hold over $1 million in pennies. Every one of those people started exactly where you are, hearing a story like this and wondering, could I be next? And before we get to the single detail that can instantly tell you if you're holding the jackpot coin, I want you to picture the moment you find it. You're holding something ordinary, yet extraordinary. The metal is cold, the weight familiar, but in that moment you realize you're not holding 1 cent, you're holding the gateway to a new chapter in life. Maybe it's the travel you've dreamed about, the home you've longed for, or the ability to retire without fear. That's the moment every coin hunter lives for. Here's the secret, the mint mark is only the start. The real separation between a $50 coin and a $821,000 coin lies in certified grade. You need to look for blazing red color, untouched surfaces, and details so crisp they look like they were struck yesterday. And no, you can't tell value by squinting under your kitchen light, you'll need a professional grading service to confirm. But the urgency is real, because coins can tarnish or get damaged just sitting in a drawer. Every day you wait, your potential fortune could be slipping away. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, this is just luck, I'll never find one. But let me tell you, luck is just preparation meeting opportunity. You prepare by learning what to look for, by checking every coin you touch, by talking to relatives about old jars and collections they might have forgotten. Because here's the twist, the last coin that hit $821,000 didn't come from a seasoned collector. It came from an ordinary person who almost spent it on lunch. Imagine being that close to life-changing money without even knowing it. So, before you go digging through your change, here's what I'll leave you with, somewhere out there, a 1952, South Lincoln Center is waiting for its next owner. It might be in the hands of someone who has no idea, it might be buried in a safe deposit box, or, it might be sitting in your possession right now. But only those who take action will ever find out. And in the coin world, hesitation can cost you more than money, it can cost you the chance to rewrite your story. The question is, when you find yours, will you recognize it before it's gone? Because by the end of this week, someone will. And it might as well be you. They say opportunity knocks once in a lifetime, but what if it's been sitting in your pocket for decades, quietly jingling in loose change, waiting for you to notice? Imagine finding a single coin that could be worth as much as a luxury home, or more. A humble copper penny, possibly fetching over $800,000 today. Sounds insane, right? Yet that's exactly the story behind the 1960 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent coin. And here's the thing, most people have already spent theirs without realizing what they had. The question is, have you? Picture this, the year is 1960. Elvis is on the radio, Kennedy is running for president, and in Denver, the U.S. Mint is striking millions of pennies. Most are ordinary, but a small number hide a tiny, almost invisible difference that turns them from pocket change into life-changing treasure. That difference is the reason collectors are fighting to get their hands on them today. And before you think, oh, I've probably never seen one, understand this, many of these coins slipped quietly into circulation, passed from hand to hand in gas stations, grocery stores, and corner diners. Which means, one could be hiding in your desk drawer right now. Now, here's where it gets thrilling. In March, one of these coins sold for over $817,000 at auction. That's right, someone essentially turned a penny into nearly $1 million. Let that sink in. How many other investments multiply like that? And more importantly, how many people threw theirs into a tip jar and walked away without ever knowing? That's the fear I want you to feel right now, because it's not the past that's scary, it's the idea of missing the chance that's still ahead. But why is it worth so much? The answer lies in a tiny detail called the small date over large date variety, a minting anomaly that collectors obsess over. In 1960, the Denver Mint struck two date styles. In rare cases, the smaller date was punched over a larger date, creating a subtle doubling effect. Combine that with the D Mint mark for Denver, and you've got one of the most sought-after Lincoln cents in numismatic history. It's the coin equivalent of a misprinted baseball card or a one-of-a-kind painting. Rarity fuels value, and condition takes it to astronomical heights. Let me interrupt myself here with a question. When was the last time you even looked closely at a penny? Be honest. Most of us toss them into a jar or the bottom of the car cup holder. Yet here we are, talking about a coin that could erase your mortgage. Isn't it funny how we ignore the very things that could change our lives? The best specimens of the 1960 D small over large date can be worth hundreds of thousands, and even less than perfect examples can still bring in serious cash. The trick is knowing how to spot one. Look for a faint outline of a larger 6 under the smaller 6, and subtle doubling in the 0. A magnifying glass can reveal what the naked eye might miss, and yes, that's how fortunes are made. But here's the twist, demand for these coins is skyrocketing right now. Collectors are aging, younger investors are joining the hunt, and rare coin values are climbing. Every year, the number of these coins left in circulation drops. Every month, more disappear into private collections forever. Which means the clock is ticking. The next person to sell one for a record-breaking price could be you. Or it could be someone who finds it in their change tomorrow, because you never bother to check yours today. And if you're thinking, well, I'll look later, let me stop you there. Later is how opportunities die. Later is the word that separates the wealthy from the wishful. Remember, these coins don't come with neon signs saying, I'm worth $817,000. They hide in plain sight, waiting for someone with curiosity, and a little courage, to uncover them. In a moment, I'm going to tell you the single biggest mistake people make when they find one of these coins, and it's the reason many sellers leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table. But first, imagine this. You walk into your bank tomorrow, deposit a penny, and it's the same as cashing a check for nearly $1 million. Would that change the way you look at every coin you touch? Would it change the way you see value itself? That's the mental shift that separates the finder from the spender. Now, the biggest mistake. Selling too quickly. The market for these coins isn't static. Right now, the $817,000 sale is making headlines, stirring demand, and driving prices higher. In the next few months, the same coin could break $1 million. But only if you have the patience, and the savvy, to sell when collectors are in a bidding frenzy. This is a game of timing as much as discovery.so. Here's my challenge to you. Tonight, grab every jar, every old coffee tin, every forgotten drawer in your house, and start looking. Inspect every 1960 penny for that D mint mark and that rare small over large date variety. Because somewhere, in the dim copper glow of an old coin, could be the key to a life you've dreamed about, a life of choice, freedom, and yes, wealth. The only question left is, will you be the one who finds it, or will you be the one who hears about someone else cashing in and wonders what might have been? The clock's already ticking. Your $1 million penny is out there. Go find it before someone else does. What if I told you that a single penny in your pocket right now could be worth more than a beachfront mansion? Not just a few hundred, not even a few thousand, but up to millions of dollars. And one recently sold for an astonishing $813,000. It's not a gold coin, it's not ancient treasure, it's an ordinary-looking 1968 D Lincoln cent ordinary. Until you know the truth, most people who've held one of these rare coins had no idea they were holding a fortune. They spent it without a second thought. Imagine finding out years later that the penny you used for a gumball could have paid off your mortgage. That's the kind of mistake that haunts people for the rest of their lives. And I'm going to make sure you don't become one of them. Now, before you go tearing through your change jar like a raccoon in a vending machine, let's slow down and look at why the 1968 D penny can be so valuable. In 1968, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. Most were flawless in design, but a few, an extremely small few, were different. They were struck with the wrong mint mark, or even no mint mark at all. The error was so subtle that 99.9% of people never noticed. But collectors? They'd pay life-changing money for the right one. And here's where things get interesting: the more perfect the condition, the rarer the error, and the closer you get to that $1 million territory. You might be wondering, alright, but how do I know if I have one? Great question. We'll get to that in just a moment, but first, picture this: you're sitting at your kitchen table, a pile of pennies in front of you. Your hands are shaking because you've just spotted something off about one coin. That tiny difference could be the bridge between your current life and the dream life you've been imagining: no debt, no stress, and maybe a few vacations you haven't even dared to plan yet. That moment is why so many treasure hunters keep searching, day after day. Here's the funny part: some people literally have these coins stuffed in a jar, collecting dust. I've seen folks use rare pennies as door shims. One guy used his as a poker chip. I bet that was the most expensive hand he ever played. But humor aside, the truth is deadly serious. Every day, these rare coins are slipping through people's fingers without them ever knowing. And with values climbing, every lost coin is a lost fortune. Now, when we talk about $813,000 for a single penny, we're talking about the best of the best, mint state condition, authenticated by a top grading service, and verified as an ultra-rare error. But even coins in less than perfect condition can be worth thousands. This isn't just about luck, it's about knowing exactly what to look for. The small details, the sharpness of Lincoln's portrait, the clarity of the date, the placement and style of the D mint mark, these details decide whether you're looking at pocket change or a jackpot. Here's where I'm going to keep you hanging just a little. Because the number one identifying feature that separates a $20 penny from an $800,000 penny, is something so easy to miss that even experienced collectors overlook it. And in a moment, I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. But first, let me explain why time is against you. Every year, more of these coins are found, graded, and locked away in collections. That means fewer and fewer are still out there to be discovered in the wild. Once they're gone, they're gone. The window to find one is closing, and when it does, so does the chance to turn your loose change into generational wealth. Imagine telling your kids you had $1 million penny in your hands, but you didn't bother to check it. That's a regret you do not want on your conscience. Alright, here it is, the telltale clue. On certain 1968 D pennies, the D mint mark wasn't actually struck into the die during the normal minting process. Instead, it was added later by hand, and sometimes that tiny mint mark is misaligned, doubled, or missing entirely. That's the error that makes collectors' hearts race. Get that coin in the right lighting, use a magnifying glass, and if you see that anomaly, stop everything. That could be the moment your life changes. That if you think you found one, don't take it to just any coin shop. You need professional authentication from a respected grading service like PCGS or NGC. A proper grade and certification can mean the difference between selling your coin for a few $100 and selling it for hundreds of thousands. And here's a tip the pros use: never clean the coin. A little tarnish is fine. Cleaning it can destroy its value faster than you can say, "I just ruined my retirement." You've heard the stories: people finding $1 million coins in old coffee cans, change from the grocery store, even in the cracks of their car seats. It's easy to think, that'll never happen to me. But someone's going to find the next big one, why not you? If you knew there was buried treasure in your backyard, would you wait until next week to dig it up? Now you know the truth. The 1968 D penny isn't just a coin, it's a potential passport to the life you've been dreaming of. The only question is whether you'll act or let this moment pass you by. Because while you're thinking about it, someone else might already be holding the next $813,000 penny, and they might be pulling it out of a jar just like yours. So, go check your coins. Not tomorrow, not when you get a chance, do it now. Because the next time we talk about $1 million penny, I want the headline to be about you. Imagine finding a single penny in your pocket, one that could pay off your mortgage, erase every debt you've ever had, and fund a lifestyle most people only dream about. Now imagine it's not a gold coin, not a treasure chest from the ocean, but an ordinary-looking copper coin you might have spent without a second thought. Today, we're talking about the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, a coin that, right now, has been valued on the market at over $811,000, and in the right conditions, could be worth even more. Yes, that's right. A single penny could change your life. But only if you know what to look for, and time might be running out. Most people think rare coins are locked away in museums or in the hands of collectors with thick glasses and thicker vaults. But here's the truth: some of the most valuable coins are still sitting in junk drawers, old coffee cans, or in boxes of childhood keepsakes, just waiting to be discovered. Somewhere in the United States, right now, someone is unknowingly carrying a fortune in their pocket change. And if you don't check your coins soon, you might spend it at the gas station on a pack of gum, instead of retiring early. The story of the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is a story of mistakes, minting mistakes. In 1968, U.S. pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins traditionally had no mint mark, but for certain proof coins, a mint mark was expected. In rare cases, those marks were missing entirely, creating an error coin that collectors crave. It's these rare, no mint mark 1968 cents, in pristine condition, that have climbed to staggering values in auctions. Some collectors have fought over them like art dealers bidding for a lost Picasso, but here's the twist: these coins don't sparkle with diamonds. They don't have glittering gold edges. They look ordinary. That's what makes this so thrilling and so dangerous. You could have one in your collection right now, and never know it. The difference between a regular penny and one worth over $800,000 can be as small as a hairline detail or the absence of a single tiny letter. Think about that. Your fortune could literally be hiding in plain sight. Now, before you start dumping every coin jar on the floor, let me tell you, condition matters. The most valuable examples are in what's called mint state, meaning they look as if they've just been struck, without scratches, discoloration, or wear. Grading agencies like PCGS or NGC can certify this, and once certified, your coin could move from being just a curious find to a bidding war magnet at high-profile auctions. And the market? It's hotter than ever. With one recent verified sale hitting that jaw-dropping $811,000 mark, the demand for top-condition error coins is skyrocketing, but there's a catch. Coins degrade over time, even if you're careful. The oils from your fingers, the humidity in your home, tiny enemies slowly eating away at your potential fortune. Every year you wait, the odds shift. Someone else could find their coin, sell it, and saturate the market. That means less attention and less money for yours. The window of opportunity is wide open right now, but it will not stay open forever. You might be thinking, alright, I'll check my coins, eventually. But here's a question, how many opportunities in life have you watched pass by because you thought you had time? What if this is the last great one you'll ever get? Don't let a penny be the one that got away. Check your collections, your change jars, your inherited boxes from relatives who swore they were just keeping a few old coins for fun. You're not just looking for a piece of copper. You're looking for a key to freedom, and here's something funny to think about, people complain about pennies being worthless, even calling for them to be eliminated. But what if that little coin everyone ignores is the single most valuable thing you own? Imagine standing at a store counter, casually handing over a coin that could have bought you a house. It's the kind of thought that makes you want to go through every single coin in your life right now, isn't it? Now, if you think the $811,000 sale was impressive, there are whispers in the collector world of examples that could fetch over $1 million, if they appear. But finding them isn't luck alone. It's about knowing exactly what details to spot, getting expert verification, and moving quickly before the market shifts. Every second that passes, another collector might be securing the payout you could have had. So here's your cliffhanger, the next 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent to break the $1 million barrier, is still out there. Maybe it's in a safe deposit box. Maybe it's sitting in your pocket right now. Or maybe it's just waiting in a forgotten jar at the back of your closet, quietly holding the power to rewrite your financial story. The only question left is, will you find it before someone else does? Have you ever held something in your hand worth more than your house, your car, and your retirement account combined, without even knowing it? Imagine reaching into a dusty jar of coins, pulling out a penny, and realizing you've just uncovered a fortune. Today, we're talking about a small copper coin that could change your life, the 1976 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark, a coin that has fetched up to $807,000 in the current market, and in certain rare cases, even whispered about in collector circles as being worth millions. Before you scoff and say, come on, it's just a penny, let me tell you, that's exactly what most people say, right before someone else cashes in big. Millions of these coins were minted, but only a microscopic fraction possessed the rare traits that make collectors' hearts race and wallets open wide. The truth is, most people throw them in a drawer, thinking they're worthless. And that's where the tragedy is, because every day, these rare pennies slip through the cracks, hidden in change, forgotten in piggy banks, or buried in storage boxes that end up at garage sales for $1. You might be wondering, why would anyone pay hundreds of thousands for a single penny? The answer lies in the mystery of minting errors, condition, and scarcity. In 1976, the Denver Mint produced coins that, under the right combination of perfect preservation and subtle die variations, became priceless to the right buyer. One coin in uncirculated condition, with its sharp strike and untouched luster, recently shocked the market at $807,000. That's not a typo. And there's more. Experts suggest there could still be unknown specimens sitting quietly in private hands. Picture this, you're at the kitchen table, a cup of coffee in one hand, a pile of pennies in the other. You flip one over and see that tiny D under the date. Your heart skips. Could this be the one? Your mind races, mortgage paid off, dream vacation booked, financial freedom forever. And then, you second guess yourself. What if it's nothing? What if you're wasting your time? That hesitation is exactly what keeps life-changing opportunities out of reach, but here's the twist, it's not just about the date and the D-mint mark. It's about the details most people overlook. The crispness of the lettering. The absence of scratches. The exact copper color under a magnifying glass. It's about knowing that the smallest imperfection could slash the value in half, while the smallest perfection could double it. And here's the kicker, these coins can pass through the hands of cashiers, bankers, and even coin roll hunters without anyone noticing. Which means they could be anywhere. Even in your pocket right now, think about that for a moment. Right now, while you're watching this, your financial future might be sitting in a jar in your garage. You don't have to dig for gold in a faraway land. You don't have to invest in complicated stocks. You just need to know what to look for, and look for it today, not next year, not someday, because the more time passes, the harder these coins are to find in pristine condition. And let's pause for a second, I know what you're thinking. Great, so now I have to spend the next month staring at pennies until my eyes cross. No. You just have to understand the shortcuts. Knowing how to spot the rare traits saves you hours of hunting and puts you in the 1% of people who can identify high-value coins instantly. You'll know whether to toss it back into circulation or guard it with your life. Collectors pay astronomical sums for these coins because they represent history, scarcity, and perfection in one small circle of copper. The 1976 D-penny isn't just currency, it's a tangible piece of America's bicentennial year, a relic of a moment when the nation celebrated 200 years of independence. And in the right form, it's a ticket to a new financial reality. Now, you might be tempted to think the big finds are all gone. That's the fear that keeps most people from looking. But the truth is, rare coins surface every single year, in estate sales, coin roll hunts, flea markets, and even from people who never knew what they had. The market is hot, buyers are ready, and the window to take advantage of this wave won't stay open forever. So here's where the urgency comes in. Every day you wait, these coins either get damaged, lost, or locked into private collections where they'll never reappear. The question is, will you be the person who finds one, or the person who later hears about it and says, I had one of those once? I think, in a moment, I'm going to tell you exactly what features separate a $807,000 penny from one worth only 1 cent. But first, imagine this, you find the coin, you sell it, and you wake up the next morning knowing your debts are gone, your future is secure, and you can finally live the life you've been imagining for years. That's the power sitting inside a single coin, and here's the cliffhanger, the most valuable 1976 D-penny ever found wasn't discovered by a seasoned collector. It was found by an ordinary person who didn't even know what they were holding, until it was almost too late. In just a moment, you'll hear exactly how they spotted it, how they sold it, and how you can avoid the mistake that almost cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. Stay right where you are, because the difference between walking away with a fortune or with nothing comes down to one detail you're about to learn.